Comedy Film Nerds Podcast.
I want to talk about the Last Dalai Lama.
Yeah, so let me bring this up on the good old IMDb.
I should say the Last Dalai Lama ?
The Last Dalai Lama?
There it is, the last Dalai Lama. So this movie was directed by Mickey Lemmy, who he did a documentary about the Dalai Lama back in 1991. And he interviewed, 1993 came out, Compassion and Exile, The Life of the 14th Dalai Lama. So that came out in 1993, which I believe I saw. I barely remember it, but it was sort of showing, kind of the history of the Dalai Lama. Became the Lama in as a child, obviously, because that's how they do it. And then China came over in like 59, whatever.
Yeah.
They invaded Tibet for their resources, and then he's been living in exile ever since then. So this one is really interesting in a lot of ways because, so just to give you a little backstory, this is what the Tibetan Buddhism is. He's the 14th Dalai Lama because the Dalai Lama just keeps being reincarnated. That's their belief system.
Right.
Yes.
So
Do they go into how they pick?
a little bit, but this kind of focuses on why there's a question mark is, so the number 2, the Panchen Lama, I believe it's called, the Chinese government has been like, oh, we found the incarnation of him on our side,
Oh, like we have, but he's not dead yet, right?
Well, no, the Panchen Lama there's the Dalai Lama and the Panchen Lama, I believe. So he's like the VP.
Okay.
Let's basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the Chinese
Then
government,
you have a
The
sub-lama
VP of Enlightenment.
and then you have
Secretary
a
of
Secretary
Lamas.
of Lama. Yeah.
Department of Lama Defense.
Yeah, a Lama pro tem.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaker of the Lamas.
Viceroy Lama.
Yeah.
So the Chinese government is saying, because he's 80 years old, the Dalai Lama is 80, and he has so much global influence, obviously,
Yeah.
that the Chinese government sees him as a threat, always has, and is like, we're going to have a hand in the next reincarnation. So the Chinese government's like, we want to pick the kid.
He's trying to pick the Dalai
And then
Lama.
this kid's going to be like, yay, all you Buddhists, come back to Tibet, and we're all going to be communists. Or
I'm a
whatever,
puppet. Yeah.
like,
Puppet Lama.
we found some new sacred scrolls, and look, they say communism is great. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
The
gosh.
ink's still wet on these.
yeah, don't worry about it. We just reincarnated new ink.
Yeah.
Don't question the Lama.
So that's how that's how the Chinese government rolls. And so there's part of this is this movie shows you kind
When
of
they're not funding Jackie Chan movies.
Well, they're doing that to distract you
Yes.
from what's really going on.
from their
From this movie coming out. Ooh, it was all planned.
Yeah. Oh my God, Kung Fu Yoga is amazing. Look at that tiger. Wait, they found a new Dalai Lama to reincarnate. So there's a lot of stuff going on in this movie, but it's fascinating. I think if you have followed the Dalai Lama and know anything about him or that situation, it's very intriguing. That for me, I'm not a Dalai Lama
I'm
scholar.
reading one of his books right now.
But yeah,
Becoming Enlightened, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Is
Right?
it working?
I think so. How do I look? Do I look enlightened?
yes, you do. You look
Thank
very
you.
enlightened. No, I have several of his books. They're fantastic, and his approach is amazing. And so, but if you don't know much about him, I would also suggest, because the filmmaker does a great job of not assuming
Do you know anything?
do you know anything.
Right.
Oh, I love that.
It brings you into the world.
It's assuming you know who the Dalai Lama is.
Yeah,
Right.
not
Just in a very
Broadway.
basic sense.
But not the llama under him.
Yeah.
Not the real Lama. So this goes deep Lama. This goes
Right.
this goes
This is like full OG Lama.
Yeah, it shows it. The movie starts with him going to his 80th birthday celebration in New York, and what that is. It's not a party. It's not like a velvet.
Yeah, I know. I was like, it seems weird that he'd be going to like
Yeah.
a party.
Hey,
I'm the Dalai Lama. He's doing
Kanye's
shots.
here, bitches. Yeah, exactly.
Peace on earth. Woo!
Yeah. Madonna would be there at
Of
least.
course, Madonna's
For
there,
sure.
Of course, Richard Gere. But they show him, doing the whole ceremony, and then the director does
The
a really
birthday ceremony?
it's the blessings and all of the stuff that he's done. that he would do in this
I got to
situation.
ask this though. This is why New York? Why wouldn't they do it in Tibet?
He does it all over the place.
Does it all over?
Oh,
the
he
world?
does like it's like spends the year or something going around.
Yeah, I think it was his
interesting.
new life celebration or whatever. So, but the director does a great job of cutting. But mainly, there's current interview footage from the last couple of years. But he does intercut from the first film, so you see
that's
like
cool.
what he said in the '90s, and then there is an interview with George Bush.
So this is a sequel.
Yes, yes. Well, it's like a documentary, like a
follow up.
yeah. Here's where we are now.
Yeah.
And the interview with George Bush was fantastic.
Was it old? Or is it, no, it's like recent.
Recently. Because he was the first American president to publicly recognize the Dalai Lama.
Really?
Oh, wait. Is this first George Bush or George W?
George W.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
First president to do it. Everyone talked back channel to him, but that was you're ruffling China's feathers if you do that. And George Bush in his fantastic, it's him. So there's part of you going, oh God, wow. Well, remember when we thought he was really dumb? So
When he was unqualified to be
when
president,
he was
remember
the
when we
most
thought he was?
and now he's the fucking,
He-
looks like
Now he's
Abraham
this-
Lincoln.
Yeah,
The
he looks
what
like
llama
Albert
is he?
Einstein. Yeah.
He looks like. So there's really fantastic stuff, and it's a really cool movie, and it shows his principles and his teaching, and what it's worth watching because I won't go into this part, but the Dalai Lama makes some sort of statements about what he thinks should happen when he passes away in terms of where they find his reincarnation. So.
Not the Chinese mainland?
No, as it turns out.
It's not on board with that plan?
No, it turns out he thinks it should happen somewhere else. So,
New York.
yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Soho. Has to be Soho.
Probably at the UCB theater.
Yeah.
Because they're really good at improv. So, yeah, it's fascinating. And if you don't know anything about Tibetan Buddhism, it's really cool. It's if you ever thought about Buddhism and enlightenment and just figuring out what this is a good entry into that.
Nope.
And then I would say, yeah.
I want to see it.
Well, if you're reading one of his books, Jessica, you absolutely should see it.
Yeah, I'm interested.
I saw him speak in the late 90s at UCLA, and it was so fantastic. I mean, we did face paint. We were like, fucking lava!
You had the birthday celebration. Yeah.
Buddha Bros.
Total Buddha bros. We got fucking hammered. It was awesome.
Yep.
We're Brodists, man.
Oh, God, that's probably a
Brutism.
real term.
Oh, gosh.
But no, it was to watch him speak live was amazing, and how much he's in the moment, and he talks a lot about, people think, oh, he probably never gets angry. He's like, no, I get angry, I get frustration, but I work through it, and it's his whole approach to dealing with those emotions and all of that. So it's
I love that.
it's fantastic. It's a
It's
fantastic.
like a Vulcan.
Yeah, it is. It is, and it shows. And
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
he's really like, the embodiment of love and kindness and compassion. And, there's an interview, and I've seen this interview multiple times, or heard this multiple times from his teacher was imprisoned by the Chinese. And they asked him, like, what was the toughest part about that? He said, the darkest moment is I almost lost compassion for the Chinese jailers.
Wow.
These guys that were beating and torturing him. He's like, I almost lost compassion for them. And I was like,
I admire that.
that is deep.
Yeah.
And that's why you're the Dalai Lama. And it was funny because I felt so kind of like and I would recommend going and see this in the theater if it's available to you.
I want to leave here and go watch it.
It's great because then when I left there, I felt like, I was like back in the material world. Like I got to check my phone. And
Did it make you want to like visit Tibet?
It makes me want to do the thing I've always wanted to do is just check the fuck out.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Throw your phone in a trash and just go into the woods.
Just
Yeah.
go find a beach somewhere.
Every day of
and
my
that's
life,
it.
I'm like,
Yeah.
today could be the day. And then I get a notification. And I'm like, oh, who's tweeting at me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm an addict.
Tick, 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 tick.
I know.
Yeah.
I really feel like that.
Because he probably doesn't have a cell phone.
Nope.
I mean, I don't know how you could maintain such compassion and regularly check the internet.
You can't.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of
That's
it.
what does it for me. I'm the kindest person when I'm not getting on the internet
Yeah.
as much. And then I don't know how to process this.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Cyber
Yeah.
fury.
Well, it's. I mean, he talks about and why it's so powerful what he's doing because, he's bringing this seriously old world, literally coming down from a goddamn monastery on a mountain where you pray
Yeah.
all day and meditate and get your mind clear to
the
come into
dream.
this chaotic world. Exactly. Isn't that the dream? I think about that. That's always been my sort of exit is I always picture myself just in some
On a mountain.
Meditating until I just ascend into the sky.
Yeah.
It's like, goodbye, cruel world.
and not deal with any of this. because
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal,
Yeah.
The human race is an awful place.
Well, it's like trying to respond to things with love now is like people are like, that's not enough. And you're like, I'm doing my best.
I know. I know. You respond
This
with
is
love.
all the compassion I have.
Yeah.
This is
People are like, there's no time for that, stupid. And you're like, I'm sorry.
I love you. I'm sorry you're going through a tough time. Fuck you. It's your
Yeah.
fault.
Yeah. That's a Facebook update.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Just the constant
Barrage.
of everything.
I'll tell you that's one thing I will tell you as a parent. That's one of the things that worries my wife and I is because the internet is such an unsafe place as kids are younger and they're growing up. They have to have their devices and stuff, but you can only block so much to the point.
Scary.
But they do get exposed to stuff, and it's getting worse every day. Like the internet is not self-policing.
No.
It's the opposite of that.
The internet just shows you the worst part of humanity.
Right.
And you're like, oh, yep, we're all humans.
You see some nice stuff. I mean, you see some compassion. You see some people trying to do the right thing. You see
Yeah.
some people. You do see that. That is out there. You have to take because it has everything. The internet represents everything.
Yeah.
Right. So it's good and bad.
But then you see
But
whatever.
there are no filters. There's
Nope.
that's one of the places we always talk about studios and stuff. No, we could use more filters on the internet to be able to block stuff out, and especially social media is where, there are tools and stuff for parents to block the stuff out, but
can only block
it's like
so
an
much.
ocean.
Yeah.
You can't block everything. It'll get in one way or the
It's
other.
like going to the
So-
beach and you can minimize the amount of sand
Right.
Yeah.
you're going to bring back to your car, but
Right.
there's going to be some.
Gotta be some. There's going to be some at the
some.
end for sure.
Yeah, you can put on a life jacket, but you can't. A life jacket won't stop a shark.
No. So
So I recommend seeing it, and I recommend trying to, get yourself to the highest level of human evolution that you can, and you can't do that if you're
Well, that's it. I'm
getting drunk
deleting
and
my
high.
Twitter.
If you're drunk and high and you're on the internet, you can't do it.
Mother.
I think I think the closer
Close.
we get to being pure energy, I think the better we'll all be.
Yeah.
Yay.
We need to just get rid of these bodies. It's ridiculous.
Hey man, if all I did was meditate and surf and do yoga and help the poor, my life would be perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, what a luxury that would be.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna have it soon
That's my goal.
because America's
Except
gonna
for
collapse,
surfing,
so
yeah.
I'm gonna move to somewhere else.
So yeah.
Let's go to Tibet. Let's move this whole studio to
Yeah,
Tibet.
to Tibet. All Tibet comedy.
Yeah.
No, we're not making a podcast network,
Yes.
Chris. You didn't hear what I said.
All
we're not
things
bringing
Tibet.
a fucking chain of comedy clubs through Tibet. Oh, we'll live stream it and
Oh,
go
you
to our
say that
hashtag.
now, but that's how
Oh,
you
No, do not
you
bring
gotta reach
capitalism.
comedy enlightenment.
Oh God, you're fucking. this is
Hashtag
the
Buddha.
worst. Oh, maybe Coca-Cola will be a sponsor.
Yes,
no, you're fucking
no.
horrifying.
Oh,
all of
Dr.
the-
Pepper.
Oh, God damn it. I got to get out of here. End this fucking show. Hot shot first. Stop it. Stop recording.